Hello, Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was Max Effort Bench Press Day. You guys saw the random number generator up front. It's going to be a tough one, but quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos every day, I know you guys enjoy them or you wouldn't watch them. Please click that like down below. Let's try to keep the likes higher than the dislikes. Just take a peek down there, and if the dislikes are catching up, please do your part and just click like. It would be greatly appreciated. But we got 80 pounds of band tension today. 80 pounds of band tension. That's going to be a lot at the lockout to deal with. And as predicted, I didn't get super heavy, but I'm reasonably happy with what I got. And everything felt good till the lockout on the last one. It's one of those to where I knew when I started lowering it was going to be hard, because you just feel that heavy band tension starting on the eccentric rep. But we managed to lock it out really clean. It was hard though for the last couple inches, and I felt a lot of shoulder on it, felt a lot of delt. That's what I felt today, right? Felt a little bit of chest, some tricep, but it really felt like a lot of delt limiting me. But we're addressing that. And like I said, I'm happy with it. I ended up getting 285 on the bar with 80 pounds of band tension. And again, people who are curious about the bands, you can tell they're taut at the bottom and they're rogue bands. It's not hard to look up the tensions. I've measured some of these on camera before in different positions, so people have an idea. But, if people want to double check it, everything's rogue plates, rogue bands, not hard to double check, because I do have people who bring this stuff into question. It's all straightforward. It's all available on their websites. You can see what their merchandise looks like, what it's rated at. But that's what we got, and I've come to realize more and more, I think what I'm going to do, I don't need to worry about movement pattern carryover on my assistance work. I just need to get all of my bench pressing muscles as big as jacked as possible. We all know when we look at me, my entire lower body, my back, all of that are my strong points. We know my bench is my weakest lift. I'm like mid to low 300s bencher right now with a pause. Of course I bench close grip, but that's okay. So we know that that's my weak link. And I just in general need more triceps, more arms, more delts, more pecs. And so we're going to keep doing the max work, and we're just going to do more and more supplemental lifts to just blow me up overall. And I need to quit thinking in terms of, well, if I do all these close grips, it'll have carryover. We don't need to worry about carryover. Right? We learned to bench off all the max work. This is where the technique is. This is where we find our different bar paths. And we do it all the time. So I'm just going to do the max work. Everything else needs to be about size. I need to blow my whole chest up. So what is it that I have noticed as far as my different supplemental lifts? I feel like the one that I feel the most in my chest lately has been the dips against bands. Even though I started doing this thinking it would be a phenomenal tricep exercise, and it should be, because dips hit all three heads of the triceps, one of the most effective tricep builders. And I want to have a tricep specialization, right? But I've noticed that I get that stretch reflex, because you get the overspeed eccentric. It's when you lock out against that band at the top. It should, in theory, be tricep, but it's like as you start to come back down, it gives this effect on the chest. It causes a stretch reflex. So I'm going to use these as a primary chest builder, chest and tricep builder. And you know what? When I take 5 sets of 10 to these close to failure, especially when I get to like failure near that last set with short breaks, even this lighter band is hard. Now, because I'm doing them with bands right now doesn't mean I'm going to stick with bands. We can vary our loading. That's the benefit of some of the supplemental lifts I do. These can be basic movement patterns that we use, but I have so much equipment available, I can change things around. If I start to stall with the bands, or recovering against bands, bands are harder to recover from. There is some evidence of that, because band work creates more micro tears in muscles. It can be a recovery issue. If it starts to become an issue, I'll go to plates, or I'll go to chains. If I want to just vary the loading, I can use straight weight for dips, I can use chains for dips, I can use bands for dips. We have different loading to vary things to avoid overuse issues and avoid certain overtraining. So I'm just going to do a ton of dips. So every one of these pressing workouts, I'm going to try to do like 5 sets of 10 on various dips. We'll try to progress, but if we don't, it's not a big deal, because we're still stimulating a lot of growth. We've already pre-fatigued all these muscles with the maxes. People need to remember that. Sometimes when you hit these assistance movements, sometimes it looks like, man, he should be able to use more than that. But we've already hit a 1 rep max. We've already recruited upper threshold fibers and fatigued them. So we're losing at that point potential reps off of even a peak set. So in other words, maybe your 10 rep max, you're not going to be able to do a 10 rep max on any of these lifts after hitting a 1 rep max lift. You're probably going to lose 2 or 3 reps. And doing 5 sets of 10, yeah, I'm going to have to work with weights that are going to be lighter than even my 10 rep max, and that's okay. But we need to train all of it. We've got to just grow everything. And what I've decided, I already said, the incline is going to be better than the standing press. Do you know why? More overall muscle development. It hits the front delts just as hard, and I'm not worried about hitting the rear delts and stuff, the rear delts and traps. That's the perk we have with the standing press. The other parts of the shoulder girdle. I do shrugs. I do 100 chin-ups every day. I'm not worried about it. Let's just get the delts, the pecs, the triceps as big as possible. This will ensure I get a little more upper chest, which the dip hits pretty well too. Incline's a decent chest builder. Maybe not as good as the flat bench, but pretty good. Great delt builder, and it's just going to put more overall muscle in all these areas. Allow me to use a little bit heavier of a weight. So dips and incline are really going to handle my chest and front delts really effectively. And we have different variations. Yes, I'm doing this with a close grip right now with a straight bar. If this starts to become an overuse problem, I can switch to the football bar. We have different tools available. If I need to, I can add chains to either one. Or a reverse band to change the loading. So these give me a lot of different exercises with just dips and incline. I have a lot of variation available if we need to rotate through movements. Keep pushing them as hard as I can. And I will say, doing these, especially like just touch and go and then a pause on the last rep each time, and I squeezed out 11 reps on the final set just to see what I could do, and it was grindy. It was pretty much a limit set. It's a lot of training volume for my chest and front delts, and they were extremely fatigued. I can honestly say I didn't have anything left in my chest or delts. They were totally shot at the end of these 2 exercises. But that's good. That's what we want. We have to stimulate muscle growth. So that's the name of the game. That's how this work mode works. We hit the big heavy max lifts with the random lifts, find the weak points, hypertrophy those weak points with large amounts of basically 10 rep sets roughly within the limits of our recovery. That's what I'm doing right now. Taking everything we got from normal conjugate, all the work capacity, all the speed, all the power we built. Now we're turning it into a little bit of specificity. It's just straight max strength and hypertrophy. Well, I'm having to take a different approach here with the bench with the special exercises. And that's what I'm doing. I've realized that no matter what I do with my bench, I am not going to get stronger on the bench till my bench muscles just flat get bigger. There's no amount of max work, no amount of speed work, nothing else I do that is going to get my bench up better until I put the size on. And it doesn't need to be about, which one's going to give me a movement pattern carry. It doesn't matter. This is volume work. You know what? Dips will blow your chest and triceps up. Incline bench will blow your upper chest, your delts, your triceps up. That's what we're doing. Same thing. I got around to it and said, if I need these to get stronger and I'm going to pick tricep exercises, what tricep exercises are likely for at least a phase to carry over to my dips the best? Because if we say, okay, we need the dips to build these muscles. And I know I need more tricep in general, so I need to do tricep specialization. We need to do tricep exercises. It's going to be the one bench muscle I do smaller exercises for. Just like I do shrugs and hamstrings specifically for my deadlift, right? Triceps need extra work. These 2 big compounds cover the chest and front delts, at least with the amount of volumes I'm doing, especially with the variation of the max lift thrown in first to fatigue them. So I'm like, let me just do normal skull crushers the way people do them who want all 3 heads to grow. And the first set took me to get into my groove, and it doesn't look as good. The final 4 sets when I go up in weight are a lot smoother, because this one just looks like just a normal one behind the head. But as I get further into it, I'm like, I need to really get that stretch. I want to stretch that long head and then explode out of the bottom. So it's almost like a pullover than a skull crusher. And I got better and better at it, and I got a good feel for doing this exercise this way with the EZ curl bar, using the very narrow grip. But the key is to avoiding the tricep tendonitis. You can't go heavy. I can't treat this like I've tried to do with skull crushers. Well, let's try to do heavy 8s. Nope. Everything needs to be 10 or higher reps. And I need to get the full range of motion of the tricep. means we need all three heads to be getting maximum stimulation out of this. Yeah, we could argue the long head won't matter as much to the bench. But let's just get my triceps big, right? So it's enough of this game. Let's just get all these muscles big and let the max bench training build the bench. I just need to get thick. And if I want my dips to go up, I need all three heads of the triceps to grow because they all three get used in the dips. I want to get stronger at dips, which is going to be one of my big mass builders for the upper body. Be one of my most important, if not my most important bench assistance movement. If I'm going to do it that way, we know my triceps can be a weak link. Let's just get the whole tricep big. All three heads. And you know what? Growing all three heads of the tricep has never hurt anybody's bench press. So let's just do that for a while. I'll mess with these, and I'll go back to chains and stuff if I start to notice tendon problems, but I think I have the technique down for now that I think it's going to be okay. Now, if this stalls, I can add chains again. Right? Putting chains on this will work pretty effectively too. But notice what I'm doing. I'm getting that pullover to activate the long head and then using the other two heads to drive it up. So we're getting pretty much the longest range of motion possible that we're really reasonably going to get from the tricep. Working the muscle through a full range of motion, utilizing all the heads. Trying to use all the functions of the tricep with a lot of volume. But doing it with a grip width and a technique that's going to reduce the chance of tendonitis. We need to watch that. And that's the beauty of that. You notice when you hit failure, what happens? You can just pull over it back over. You don't have to turn loose. You still pull over, put it back in place. Because you can't get it started out of the bottom when those other two heads fail. But you can use your lats and long head to put it back on your chest. Okay. But I just need to get all these muscles big. I need my pecs, triceps, and delts to just come up in general to catch up with everything else. Probably make me look better and people will get talking about the terrible genetics if I just grow these muscles and you know what, my bench will go up. And who is it? Oh, bodybuilders always have good bench presses. Why? Because they have big chests and big arms. You know, I can take a different approach with things like the squat and the deadlift. We can. But let's be honest here. Bench is a bro exercise. Training your bro muscles will build your bench. You just got to have the good training on the max side end to go with it. All right, you just have to maximize that hypertrophy. So let's just do that. I'm just going to grow them. Let's just grow these muscles. Get thick. That's what orc mode's all about. Maximum strength and just getting as thick as peanut butter. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.